Hi guys, if you're watching this video, hopefully you bought the 6th grade Super STAAR Foldable from my Teachers Pay Teachers store. This is a quick little tutorial for how to put it together. One thing that I did before I got started was I went ahead and printed everything out so I didn't have to waste too much time cutting in the video. So that's all of those. And then this foldable is made out of an 11.5 by 14.5 inch envelope that you can get from any of your office supply stores for pretty cheap. And it's one envelope per student in your class, so you'll have to make sure that you get a count of all of the envelopes that you will need. The first thing that you do to put this together is close up the braided section of the envelope, but do not close lick the seal shut on this, because this pocket will be holding different things on the inside. So after that, you'll fold it kind of like a book or hamburger fold, whatever you tell your kids to do. And then next you're going to need a pair of scissors, because what we're going to do is on this half that doesn't have the brad, just like kind of the bottom half of the envelope, we're going to cut the 3 edges off to kind of make pages that can move for your book. And what I always tell my kids is, I call it shaving the edges off, because you're going to cut the tiniest little piece off of all 3 sides. And you don't want to cut too much of a chunk off, because it will take up the space for your inserts, all of your foldables to be attached. So once you have those 3 edges cut off, you should have 2 movable pieces, and then that'll be your front, and then a couple of pages, and then you still have the inside. And this half is going to be a pocket that we're going to close up. So to close it up, you're going to tell your kids to put the tiniest little strip of glue in here so that it closes that seal, but it doesn't ooze out everywhere. If it oozes out a little bit, I just either wipe it off or have the kids get a Kleenex and do that. But anyways, that closes up the seal for the pocket where all of your measurement stuff is going to go. And now you basically have the booklet put together for your STAAR foldable, so that you can put all of the foldable inserts and whatnot in there. So the first thing is the cover. I just cut this out and put it on the front. If they want to put their name on it or decorate it, they can do that outside of class. I don't take up too much class time doing that. So that's the front. The next page, or section I guess, is kind of rational numbers and operations and things like that. It takes these 3 inserts. So I like to build it from bottom to top. So the integers page with all the integer rules that we like to use goes down first. I kind of set it a little off to the center, or a little off from the center, because you've got something that's glued here and over on the left side. The next page was a front and back copy of fraction and decimal operations. It's got a little tab here that folds backwards, and then these 2 sections kind of fold over the top of each other, fold in half. So a little strip of glue, and that goes over on the left side. Get that held down. And then the last thing, the top piece, is the number system graphic organizer. And that little top section also gets one little strip of glue. for the sniffling. It's lovely hot and cold weather in Texas every other day. So that's page 1, or section 1. It's got the graphic organizer, the fractions and decimals examples, and then the integer rules as well. Section 2 is just right across from it. It's 2 quarter-page foldables. It really doesn't necessarily matter which one's on top or bottom, but they just get glued. It's a front and back copy. So this one has some inequality symbols and then some one-step inequalities and equations and whatnot. So it's just a hot dog fold and then a hamburger fold to make it a quarter page. The combining like terms and coordinate plane stuff is the same thing. It's a front and back copy, hot dog fold, and then a quarter or a hamburger fold to make it a quarter page. So they both just get glued on page 2 or section 2, whatever you want to call it. And they should open up, once you have them folded and glued in, they should open up where stuff doesn't really get in the way when you have each one of them open. This one kind of hangs off the bottom a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal for writing and whatnot. And then you close that. Moving on to section 3, it's just the back of the page that we were on. This one is 2 of those tabbed doors for proportional reasoning and then percent proportions. So I start with this first one. These are a one-sided page that has a section to chop off. I definitely suggest, especially if you have one of those giant paper cutters at your school, to chop that part off for the kids already. That way they don't have to waste too much time, and then they can cut the tabs open for the little doors to do their work. So little strip of glue goes on that piece, and I just glue it over the side. Then the other one is the percent proportions. It's going to get glued. It's the same idea. It just moves over a little bit more on the doors, or the size of the doors. So put another strip of glue, and that one gets glued in kind of right underneath, tucked in under the other proportion door. And then the kids can do their work, you know, highlight or underline on the front and do their work on the back of these sections. On to section 4. It's about triangles and whatnot. These and measuring angles and all that. These were a 2-sided triangle section, so you just cut the triangle out, and then I always have to fold all 3 sides and then kind of mess with it until I get the titles out on the outside. But one of them goes there. The other one's an upside down one. It's the same idea with the triangle. It's just turned to where, you know, the other one's there. These have to fit underneath the envelope's folded edge, so I just have to open that up for the time to glue it down. And then once both of those are folded up, put one of them right there at the edge of the fold, and then the other one just goes right next to it, upside down, next to it. They have to go right next to each other so that it doesn't get in the way of the edge of the booklet, but it's not a big deal because then you can open up each individual one and do whatever work is required of those 2 pieces in that section. And then the last part that gets glued on the outside is an accordion folded 2-sided page over financial literacy. It originally, I think, kind of looks like this, and the kids cut it in half horizontally to make 2 long strips of paper. I always tell them to find the wages, salary, saving for college, that side, and then these 2 pieces in the center are going to get glued down, overlapping, to make it one long accordion fold here in just a second. So I always start with the back piece when I'm folding it up. So fold there, then fold in the center. That one's kind of a little tricky because there's always a little bit of wet glue right there, so you gotta kind of mess with it a little bit. And then fold that one back up, and then choosing a bank, and then like protecting your credit right there should be on the front. So then once you have that folded up, that says glue to the top of section 5, but really section 5 is just this bottom piece. And so that gets glued there, and then you have a nice kind of little accordion style piece that you can pull out and write the information on. The last section is the measurement, area, and volume for 6th grade. I can already tell you originally from when I planned this out, I don't plan on my kids cutting all of these out into individual shapes just because of time. It'll take them forever to cut these out, and it'll probably increase the likelihood of losing all of these little pieces. So I plan on just leaving all of these on the actual pages that they were printed on and just folding them in half and putting them in this section. But it's always an option to cut those out if you want to, because those go into the pocket of the last section. And then at the very back is a spot for kids to put their name and your name as well, if their booklet gets lost or left in some other teacher's room, as middle school students often do. So that's a back page there to kind of hopefully get it returned to you or to the student if it gets misplaced. So that's kind of how just to put the whole super foldable together. Again, if you haven't bought it yet, it's on Teachers Pay Teachers. My name is Amy Hendricks. You can search either for me and find it on one of the items I have listed, or search 6th Grade Super STAAR Foldable. That's the front of it again. Some quick tips that I've run into is I try to do as much cutting for the kids as possible. I mentioned in like this section I would have chopped off that extra piece so that the kids didn't have to do that. Maybe the triangles go around the edge of the big triangle whenever it's cut out, just because that'll cut down on some of the class time that it'll because cutting takes up a lot of class time because they're not always the quickest little cutters in school, and likely will make a mistake cutting things. The other thing I suggest is if you are lucky enough, like our campus, to have student aides that work in your classroom, maybe having them kind of put the whole thing together for your students. That way you can just get going day one of your STAAR review without having to put it together in class. I know I have student aides, and I have them go ahead and cut out the envelopes and glue all of these pieces in there. That way we can just hand it to the students and get started. So if you're lucky enough like us to have that, that's definitely a good thing. The envelope again is an 11.5 by 14 inch envelope for gluing. A 9 by 12 envelope, that size, the next smaller, would work okay. You just have a little trouble fitting in like this kind of stuff. So it works. You just gotta mess with it just a tiny bit to really kind of make it work for you. But that envelope does work, and hopefully you can buy them through your school and get the tax-free ID and all that, and save a little bit of money there. So if you have any questions about it, you can always send me a comment or a question over Teachers Pay Teachers, and I will get back to you, fairly quickly if you run into any troubles. So thank you.